All right. You guys should be looking at the screen over here. Okay. So let's see what we got here, man. So this is the FDA's chart, supposedly, right? And as you can see here, the FDA just starting with the vitamins here. It said that we need 300 micrograms. So that MCG is micrograms, okay, of of biotin. And that biotin is good for energy storage, protein and carbohydrate, and fat metabolism. You guys can see that? So you need to and then also too it tell you where you can find that particular vitamin. Now, you see it didn't allude to the vitamin shop. It didn't say GNC. It didn't say anything like that. It basically said you can find it in avocados, cauliflower, uh, and everything like that. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we gotta understand right here, man. Can you guys see that? Let me make sure you guys can see it. I got it where it's doing box. Hold on here. Let me make sure you guys can see this real quick. All right, let me see what we got over here. Make sure you guys can see what we got going on. You know, this technology, man, this thing here something serious. All right. Okay, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, now let's see. We can go back to the chart now. All right. Okay, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Turn that down. I just want to make sure we were good, boy. Gotta make sure we good, man. All right, so let's see here. We can go back to the chart so that we can continue to talk to you about how the FDA has approved this particular thing here, man. And we can keep this thing moving forward. All right. Let me know when you guys got this thing popping. Okay, I got a little glitch in my system here. We'll try one more time, man. You know, down here in this basement is, hey, it's no joke. No joke. So let's see here. All right, so you guys should be looking at this chart. And again, this is an FDA approved chart. We're going to put the link in the description below so you guys can go and look at it for yourself. Now they say in biotin you needed 300 micrograms of that, and they say you get it out of avocados, cauliflower, eggs, fruits like raspberries, liver, pork, salmon, and whole grains. All right. So this is going to be very important for people who are healthy. If you really want to know exactly like what am I supposed to be taking and what I need to be taking, then this is really going to be the thing you're going to want to know. Okay? You're going to really want to know what intake you need for a daily value. All right, now when we get to folate and folic acid, I don't know if you guys can read that, but you see it says this is important for pregnant women and women capable of becoming pregnant. So a lot of times, if you're having difficulties in this area, the doctor may prescribe you or give you tell you need to take some folate or folic acid supplements. Okay, but the FDA didn't tell you to go take supplements. He said that folic acid was good for prevention of birth defects, protein metabolism, and red blood cell formation. But then he sent you to the foods to get the folic acid. Foods like asparagus, avocado, beans and peas, enriched grain products, bread and cereal, pasta and rice, green leafy vegetables, spinach, and orange juice. You see where I'm going with this, guys? They're not telling us to go to GNC and to get vitamin supplements. I know that this is gonna hurt the supplement companies out there that want you to buy supplements. And I know that this may hurt some of these health food stores that all they got is pills inside their herb shops, right? They have no loose leaf herbs, right? They have no dried herbs, no fresh herbs. They ain't got nothing. All they got is pills, right? And all of these are supplements. But the FDA themselves is telling you to find these particular vitamins and minerals that your body needs on an everyday basis through real foods, real foods. Okay. So they say you need 20 milligrams of niacin. All right, now for folic acid, there was 400 micrograms of it. For niacin, is 20 milligrams. Okay, and they said FDA said that niacin was good for cholesterol production, conversion of food into energy within the body. It's good for digestion, and it's good for nervous system function. Okay, now you see right there the foods. You can get it in beans, beef. Now, when it comes to the food, I don't agree with all the foods. Sometimes you might not want to eat no pork. You might not be into beans and this, that, and the third, but you definitely need to find substitutes that's still going to give you the daily value. Now, when you have your mineral deficiency test done and you have the results and you know exactly what you're deficient in, and you have this chart where you know your daily value of what the body needs, right? From a biochemical standpoint, you know what amounts of food you need to balance to keep you balanced. Don't you see how you can use food now as medicine? Don't you see how when if you're having issues with pregnancy early on, just change your diet to certain things? Uh, you know, um, if you're having cholesterol issues, can't you see you may need to start looking for foods that have more of a Nicene effect to it? Okay. Now, when it goes to pantothenic acid, all right, the FDA said it's used to convert food into energy within the body. All right, it's also used as fat metabolism, hormone production, nervous system function, and red blood cell formation. But you can find pantothenic acid in avocados and beans and peas, broccoli, eggs, milk, mushrooms, poultry, seafood, sweet potatoes, whole grains, and yogurt. And you need 10 milligrams of this on a daily basis. Okay, riboflavin. All right, riboflavin. The FDA said this also converts food into energy within the body. It is also used for growth and development and red blood cell formation. You see what I'm saying? But then also the FDA said that you can find this in eggs, in enriched grain products like bread, cereal, and pasta rice, in meats, in milk, mushroom, poultry, seafood like oysters and spinach. So you see what I'm saying? The FDA even is telling you to go to the food for the vitamins and minerals. Our job as citizens is to make sure that our communities got what we need as far as fresh foods, fresh farmers markets, especially when you're talking about food deserts that are normally in low income environments. We call them food deserts. Those are places that don't have access to whole foods and sprouts and farmers markets in the way that maybe other areas do. And you'll find in these food deserts the same way that they don't have these foods, or the same way that the rate of obesity and heart disease and diabetes is high. So you got low markets that sell fresh foods, and you got high rates of disease and obesity. It's a connection there, people. And so we need to mandate more fresh food markets in these low income areas. And we need to have more, supermarket, mobile supermarkets, and more activism and more awareness to these particular causes so that we can get this good food to the people that need it. All people need good food. Okay. You just can't keep serving McDonald's and Burger King in our neighborhoods and thinking that we're going to be healthy. It doesn't work like that. You can't keep thinking that Publix and Food Depot and all of these places that we go to have the proper food. Sometimes that food is hand me down, and I'm not ragging on nobody, but I'm just trying to say we have to be very careful with the quality of food that we're being given in our communities. Now, it also says here, let's go ahead and scroll down here. It says riboflavin. All right, it says we need 1.7 milligrams of that. And thiamine, it says we need 1.5 milligrams of thiamine. And thiamine, from the FDA standards, is used to convert food into energy and for the nervous system. All right, and they say that you can eat beans and peas to get the thiamine. You can get enriched grain products like bread, cereal, pasta, rice, nuts, pork, sunflower seeds, whole grains. Again, you don't have to eat everything on the diet, but to know exactly what you need on a daily basis, and then you add that with you knowing your deficiency levels, then it should give you some basis of understanding how to interject food as medicine, and you can keep everything going as you got it going and stay healthy. Okay. Now here are some of the vitamins here. So now we're off into the vitamins. All right. Now you got vitamin A here, and they're saying you need 5,000 IUs of vitamin A. Okay. 5,000 IUs of vitamin A, and they saying that vitamin A is used for growth and development, the immune system, reproduction, red blood cell formation, skin and bone formation, and vision. Okay. And they're also saying that you can find a lot of vitamin A or what you need in cantaloupe, carrots, dairy products, eggs, fortified cereals, green leafy vegetables, spinach and broccoli, pumpkin, red peppers, and sweet potatoes. So you see, again, you can get these particular vitamins that you need through the foods, not supplements. Okay. Vitamin B6 is very important. You need 2 milligrams of vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 from FDA standards is used to for the immune function, nervous system function, protein and carbohydrate and fat metabolism, red blood cell formation. It is also used. Then they say you can get it in chickpeas. They say you can also get it in fruits other than citrus fruits, right? So those are gonna be things like bananas, um, and you can get it in potatoes and salmon and tuna. Okay, this is what we're looking at. This is how we're gonna stay healthy, 2019 through beyond. All right, vitamin B12. They said this also is used to convert food into energy. It's also for the nervous system and red blood cell. You get this in dairy products and eggs, fortified cereal, milks, poultry, seafood like clams, trout, and salmon, haddock, and tuna. Okay. And you need 6 micrograms of this on a daily basis. All right. 6 micrograms on a daily basis. Moving to vitamin C, you need 60 milligrams of this on a daily basis. The FDA says you can get this through antioxidants, and you can get it said it's vitamin C is good for, antioxidants, collagen and connective tissue formation within the body. It's also good for immune function and wound healing. Okay, and you can find this in broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cantaloupe, citrus fruits and juices, oranges and grapes, kiwi fruit, peppers, strawberries, tomatoes, and tomato juice. Okay, so there you go. Now, vitamin D. They have a caveat here in vitamin D, and it says this nutrient is of concern for most Americans, meaning most Americans are deficient in vitamin D. Now, they also state here that vitamin D regulates the blood pressure. It is good for bone growth, calcium balance, hormone production, immune function, and nervous system functionality. But the FDA also says you ain't got to go and get vitamin D supplements. You can find this in eggs, fish like herring, mackerel, salmon, trout, and tuna. You can also find this in fish liver oil. They say you can get it in fortified cereals and fortified dairy products and fortified margarine, fortified orange juice, and fortified soy beverages like soy milk. And like I said, I don't agree with a whole lot of this type of stuff, but the big thing is to know what you need and how much you need. Okay. So that's where we go with the deficiency test, and then we go with the chart, then we use food as medicine. And here they say you need 400 IUs of vitamin D a day. Okay, 400 IUs of vitamin D a day. Some of us, we may be able to supplement that by getting enough sunlight. So if you're pale skin, you may can do about an hour or two of sunlight and be good for your vitamin D intake. For some dark skinned people, you may need to supplement some sunlight plus eat more things with vitamin D in it, because that's why dark skinned people are coming up more vitamin D deficient, because they're not getting enough sunlight, and then you're not eating enough things in your diet. Okay. So you're going to need to be out in the sunlight a lot longer than a light skinned person. And you're going to need to be eating a lot more vitamin D enriched foods to keep your vitamin D levels up. And the reason why is because melanin is a great sun blocker. So you're going to need a lot more sunlight because your skin blocks out a lot more sunlight. Okay. So FDA said you need 30 IUs of vitamin E. Okay, moving on. It said vitamin E is a good antioxidant. It's also good for formation of blood vessels and the immune function. It said the FDA also says you find vitamin E in fortified cereals and juices. You also find it in green vegetables like spinach and broccoli. You can find it in nuts and seeds, peanuts and peanut butter, vegetable oils. Okay. Vitamin K. You need 80 micrograms of vitamin K. And the FDA said vitamin K is good for blood clotting and strong bones. And they said you can find vitamin K in green vegetables like broccoli, kale, spinach, turnip greens, collards, Swiss chard, and mustard greens. Okay. So that is it. Now, when it comes to these vitamins here, I tend to look at vitamin KEDA, and I call her Keto. And, and those are the most important ones to me: vitamin K, vitamin E, vitamin D, and vitamin A. Now, the B vitamins and vitamin C are just as important, but you always want to keep some type of understanding of where you at when it comes to vitamin K, E, D, and A. Okay. Um, Now we're down to the minerals. Now, just as important as vitamins are your minerals. All right. And the FDA didn't say anything about going to have, doing mineral salts. Like some people want to sell mineral salts and all this type of stuff. Now, mineral salts are good. They give you some other um, minerals that you definitely need. But again, when you're putting that rock in there in your body, sometimes they can have make it difficult for the body to break down. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So you want to keep food as much as possible as you can as your medicine. You don't want to go to popping pills. You don't want to go to um, having to do any type of synthetic supplemental type of stuff unless you have to. Okay. But the first rule of thumb for, especially here at Leaf Vital Essentials, we're going to recommend food as the first method of remedy for us is food. Okay, change your diet, and you may be able to miss a visit from the doctor's office. If not, then hey, it is what it is. So here, starting with the minerals, the FDA said calcium is a nutrient of concern for most Americans. Again, what that means is they're saying that most Americans are calcium deficient. Okay, and they said that calcium is good for blood clotting, bone and teeth formation, constricting and relaxation of blood vessels, hormone secretion, muscle contraction, and the nervous system function. And you'll start seeing a lot of these vitamins and minerals are good for your nervous system. Okay, that has a lot to do with, believe it or not, our functionality, how we function on an everyday basis. So when you start talking about, you know, mental disorders and all of this types of stuff, we need to start looking at food as being one of the major things of why we're not thinking right and why we're not feeling right is because our nervous system is not functioning properly. Okay, FDA also too said that you can find calcium in food like almond, rice, coconut, and hemp milks. They say you can find it in canned seafood with bones like salmon and sardines, dairy products, fortified cereals and juices, fortified soy beverages like soy milk, green vegetables like spinach, kale, broccoli, and turnip greens. They say you can also find calcium in tofu. Again, some of this stuff I don't recommend, but you make the substitute to get you your 1,000 milligrams of calcium a day that the FDA is saying you need. Okay. They also say you need 3,400 milligrams. All right. 3,400 milligrams of chloride. FDA said chloride is a good acid-base balance. All right, it's used for to convert food into energy. It's good for digestion. It's good for fluid balance, and it's also good for the nervous system function. Okay, they also recommend you going to get your chloride from celery and lettuce and olives and rye and salt substitutes, seaweeds like dolce and kelp, table salt and sea salt, and tomatoes. Okay, you need 3,400 milligrams of chloride a day, and you can get it in celery, lettuce, olives, and things of that nature. Now, also, too, the FDA said you need chromium, and you need 120 micrograms of chromium a day. And chromium is good for insulin function, and protein and carbohydrate and fat metabolism. They also said you can find chromium in broccoli and fruits like apples and bananas, okay? Grape and orange juice, meats, spices like garlic and basil. You can find chromium in turkey and whole grains, all right? All right, the FDA say you need copper. You need 2 milligrams of copper to be exact. And they also said copper was good as an antioxidant. It's good for bone formation, collagen, and connective tissue formation. It's good for energy production and iron metabolism. It's good for the nervous system function. Okay. And they said you can find this copper in chocolate and cocoa. You can find it in crustaceans and shellfish. You can also find it in lentils and nuts and seeds and organ meats like liver and whole grains. Remember, you need 2 milligrams of copper from the FDA. Okay. Now moving on, the FDA said you need iodine and you need 150 micrograms of iodine. Okay. And they say you can get this. They say iodine is good for growth and development, metabolism, reproduction, thyroid hormone production. So you'll see in a lot of thyroid patients, they have issues with the iodine levels. Okay. And the FDA said you can find iodine in breads and cereals, dairy products, iodized salt, potatoes, seafood, seaweed, turkey. Okay, and you need to look at those things to get your 150 micrograms. All right, now we move on to iron. The FDA said that iron is another nutrient of concern for young children, pregnant women, and women capable of becoming pregnant. So again, here if you're having any kind of issues with fertility, this may be one of those minerals that they told you you're going to need to supplement. All right, it may be folic acid, and they may have said get your iron build up. Okay, and the reason why is because when you lose blood, you lose iron. Okay, so anytime you're losing blood, you're going to need to be paying attention to your iron levels. FDA said that iron is good for energy production. It's good for growth and development. It's good for the immune function and red blood cell formation and reproduction. And it's also good for wound healing. And the FDA also recommend you going to foods like beans and peas, dark green vegetables, meats and poultry, prunes and prune juice, raisins and seafood, whole grain, enriched and fortified cereals and breads to get your 18 milligrams a day that you need. Okay, you need 18 milligrams a day. Now, if you are women of color, you need more iron than most people. So you really need to pay attention. If you're a woman of color, you need to pay attention to your iron levels a lot more than the most of us. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on to some more minerals. All right. Now, the next mineral is magnesium. FDA said you need 400 milligrams of magnesium. To me, magnesium is another big heavy hitter that we all need to really, really pay attention to. Um, but it says that magnesium is good for blood pressure regulation, for blood sugar regulation, for bone formation, energy production, hormone secretion, immune function, muscle contraction, nervous system function, normal heart rhythm, protein formation. So you see here, this has the biggest list by far that a mineral is good for. And that's why magnesium is very important. And the FDA say that you can get this not as a supplement, but you can go straight into avocados and bananas, and beans and peas and dairy products and green leafy vegetables like spinach and nuts and pumpkin seeds and potatoes, raisins and wheat bran and whole grains to get your 400 milligrams a day. Okay. Now, next we got manganese. All right. The FDA said you need 2 milligrams a day of manganese. They said manganese is good to be a carbohydrate and protein and cholesterol metabolism within the body. They also said it's good for cartilage and bone formation. And manganese is also good for wound healing. Now the FDA said they recommend you going toward beans and nuts, pineapples and spinach and sweet potatoes and whole grains to get your 2 milligrams of manganese you need a day. Now next we have molybdenum. Molybdenum, you need 75 micrograms of molybdenum a day. All right. Now the FDA said that molybdenum is good for carbohydrate, protein, and cholesterol metabolism within the body. They also said it's good for cartilage and bone formation as well as wound healing. And the FDA said that they recommend you going toward beans, excuse me, molybdenum. I lost track there. It's good for enzyme production. My fault. Enzyme production. Okay. But they also recommended you did go toward the beans and peas, nuts, and whole grains. All right. So molybdenum, you need 75 micrograms of it, and it's found in beans, peas, nuts, all right, and whole grains. All right. Now the next one is phosphorus. All right. The FDA said you need 1,000 milligrams of phosphorus a day. They also said that phosphorus is acid-base balance. It is good for bone formation and energy production and storage, as well as its hormone activation. Okay. Now they also recommend you getting your phosphorus from beans and peas, dairy products, meats, nuts and seeds, poultry, seafood, whole grain, enriched and fortitude cereals, as well as breads. Okay. Now next we got potassium, and as we can see that this is another nutrient of concern for most Americans from the FDA standards. Okay. Basically what they're saying is that they're finding most people to be deficient in potassium. Now, what does potassium do? Well, it regulates the blood pressure. It also is a good carbohydrate metabolism within the body. It also handles the fluid balance. It's good for growth and development, the heart function, muscle contraction, the nervous system functionality, as well as protein formation. All right, and then the FDA recommends you getting this potassium from bananas, beet greens, juices like carrot juice and pomegranate juice, prune, orange, and tomato juice, milk, oranges and orange juice, potatoes and sweet potatoes, prunes and prune juice, spinach, tomatoes and tomato products, white beans and yogurt. Like I said, you supplement some of these things for the things you like, as long as you can get 3,500 milligrams of potassium within your diet, you're good to go. Your body is balanced. Okay. Use food as medicine. All right. Now, when we're talking about selenium, all right, they say you need 70 micrograms of selenium. They said selenium is a good antioxidant. It's good for immune functionality, reproduction, and thyroid function. So this is another one you'll see in patients that have thyroid issues. They have they're dealing with selenium levels that are off. Okay, and so the FDA said you can find selenium in eggs, enriched pasta and rice, meats, nuts like Brazil nuts and seeds, poultry, seafood, and whole grains. Okay. And lastly, we're coming to sodium. And you see here, they said this is a nutrient that we need to get a little bit less of. And the reason why we need to get less of this, you'll see that this is mostly in your fast foods and your processed food and your packaged food. And that's why we're getting too much sodium. But again, what it does by FDA standards, sodium is an acid base balance. It regulates the blood pressure. It is good for the fluid balance. muscle contraction, and the nervous system functionality. They're saying you can find sodium in bread and rolls, cheese, natural and processed, cold cuts and cured meats, deli and packaged ham or turkey. So if you're out there eating cold cuts, you're eating too much sodium. Mixed meat dishes like beef stew, chili, and meatloaf. Sodium is in mixed pasta dishes like lasagna, pasta salad, and spaghetti with meat sauce. It's in pizza, poultry, fresh or and processed. It's in sandwiches like hamburgers, hot dogs, and submarine sandwiches. It's in savory snacks like chips and crackers and popcorn and pretzels. It's in soups and in table salt. And that's why we get too much of it. But we do need a daily value of 2,400 milligrams a day. So we do need some, but we don't need as much as we're getting. And so watch the sodium. All right. Now, next is zinc. Lastly, zinc, we need 15 milligrams of zinc, according to the FDA, because zinc is good for growth and development, the immune function, nervous system function, protein formation, reproduction, taste and smell, and wound healing. And the FDA is saying that we can get this in beans and peas, beef, dairy products, fortified cereal, nuts, poultry, seafood like clams, crab, lobsters, and oysters, and whole grains. Now let me change my thing back around, man, because I want you guys to see. And also, too, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll keep this up for a second here, but you can get this at www.fda.gov slash nutrition education, and you get this same chart. So the main thing, all you need to do is get the mineral and vitamin deficiency test from your doctor. You get that, or you go into your walk-in clinic and go ahead and get that. You download this chart, you have that, and then you start utilizing food as your medicine. All right. Let me see, can we get this turned around here? Yep. And you start utilizing food as your medicine, man. And then you're well on your way to doing exactly everything that you need to do to maintain your health. Um, and you don't have to worry about nothing, man. And that's preventative health. That's preventative medicine at its finest. And we all can do this. We all can take part in this. We all can, you know, bring about some awareness with this. This is going to be beneficial to our kids coming up to where they first know exactly what they need as far as their intake is concerned. And then, outside of that, they also, too, now with that vitamin and mineral deficiency test, they know what they're missing, they know what they need, they know what foods to look for, and they can start mandating their community to have these foods, at their disposal so that they can maintain some healthiness. I mean, it's really quite simple. It's really quite cut and dry. We ain't really asking for a whole lot here. We're not asking for nobody to go do no legislation. We're just simply asking for a little bit of awareness, a little bit of research on our part as individuals, as citizens of America. We do deserve the right to know what's in our foods, but we also have the right to delve into it and look and research and know. But we also got the right to mandate a certain quality of care. And if we can't get it in the healthcare system, surely we can force the food industry to look at things our way if they want us to consume any of their products, And so, I look at it from that angle. We don't have a problem with consuming, but we do have a right to know what we're consuming, and we do have a right to have some kind of say in what we consume and why we want to consume it. And if we want to live beyond, 80 and 90 years old, if we want to be able to work and gain wealth well in our 70s and 80s, especially when you're talking about Social Security not being there for the most of us and for the most part, then this is one of those things that's going to make sure that we maintain some sense of health in our elder ages. And using food and utilizing this food method and understanding the food to be the preventative health care that us otherwise healthy young people need, right? That's all we need to do. All we need to do, if you're healthy right now and you're watching this video, all you need to do to maintain your health is use food as medicine, know your vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and keep your daily values where they need to be. Okay? And you'll never see the doctor's office. For some of us that are dealing with certain things, change your diet, know your daily values, know your deficiencies, and start working, man. Start working. Another thing too is that we need to start understanding how to cook our foods better, how to prepare these foods so that we can make sure that we're keeping the nutrients and the vitamins and the minerals that we need in the foods. Okay, that's another thing. Another thing too is that we need to make cooking and the whole cooking environment in the home a much more palatable thing for our women, and for men need to understand how to cook as well, and everybody need to take part in it because it draws the family together. And family is everything. Family is business, and a lot of our stressors are coming from family, and a lot of our stressors are coming from feeling alone and being isolated. And so cooking is one of those things that bring everybody in, and food is one of those things that we can always gather people around, and we can always fellowship around food, and we can always share cultures around food. And so food is the element that has always been here. And when you see our videos, when we're talking about the herb of the day, that's a whole nother thing about food. That's herbs are food. Is what we put on our food. All right. And it's used to enhance our foods, but it's also used to enhance us as our health as well. So remember to look at the herb of the video days and start familiarizing yourself with herbs and their constituents and their actions, and start looking at what is a diuretic and what is antispasmodic and all these particular phrases that people use, so that you'll know when you're dealing with a condition what the herb is good for, what the food is good for. And so that's why we want you to download these charts. And that's why we want you to spread the word and show the video to as many people as possible, so that they can get the word out that food is medicine and it's FDA approved. And so even the FDA is saying to you, hey, look, we even prescribe food, so we don't even understand why they're not eating the right things. So it's on us now as citizens to take it into our own hands and do the awareness and show that, hey, we are aware and we're going to make the necessary changes to prolong our lives and the lives of our children. All right. So, hey, man, I appreciate it, man. If you guys got any comments, please share them in the comment section. Like I said, the family is growing. We appreciate everybody for continuing to jump on board and join the family. Continue to get the word out. Food is medicine. I'm your homie HerbMan, man. And here at Leafofvitalessentials, we like to say we love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, man. And until next time, peace. Yes, sir.